AITA for answering to a guy's text not reading all that congratulations or sorry that happened. I went on a Hinge date with a guy that I had been talking to a few weeks prior. We established that we were looking for something long-term. Date went well. He's a super nice guy. After the date, he asked me to let him know if I wanted to hang out again. I texted him the next day to tell him that I enjoyed our time together, and he left me undelivered for 9 days. He then texted me saying, "Sorry, I've been busy with school. I had a good time too. Maybe later we can get TG again, but I'm not ready for a relationship RN." I thought I was, but I just got out of a relationship and just have to work on myself, to which I answered, "Oof. Not reading all that congratulations or sorry that happened." I was just fed up by that point and didn't care for the storyline he concocted to basically tell me that he wasn't interested, and I also just thought that it'd be funny, but he did not like it. He blocked me immediately. And I do feel an itsy bitsy tiny bit bad. AITA for not entirely trusting my partner when he says I said something. I, 30F, have ADHD and got into a fight with my partner. Context: I asked my partner how I could support him, and when I told him why I was asking, because I didn't want to do the wrong thing and have him be mad at me, he said I was not being intuitive and playing into fear and anxiety when I ask questions like that. He then got upset because when he confronted me and said I was fearful and anxious, that's why I asked him. I told him that's not what I stated. He tells me I was gaslighting him, but I honestly thought I didn't say that, so I am now seen as a liar and crazy because I forgot what I said like 90 secs after saying it. Does anyone else instantly forget what they said and is convinced you said otherwise? If you're confused reading this, then imagine how I feel and my partner feels. I feel so stupid. It's hard for me to emotionally regulate my feelings when conflict happens. This is a case of he said/she said. I want to trust myself when I am trying to remember things and what I do, but I'm not confident in that anymore. I also realized I forgot to take my Adderall today. It's hard for me to trust what he says he heard me say because he convinces himself a lot of stories he tells himself, and me asking him what to do is a big trigger for him. AITA for breaking down and telling his mom our struggles. I, 36F, have been dating my partner, 36M, for roughly 2 years. We are both diagnosed ADHD. I have mine fairly managed and it doesn't impact my work or have any strong influences on my day-to-day. His has not been well managed for over a year. He has stopped going to therapy and does not take his medications consistently. He is often distracted with his hyperfixations to the point that he's fallen behind several times on work projects and has had to cancel plans and work late hours or weekends to make up for the time he spent looking at YouTube videos or making music or playing video games while on the clock. He often claims he has obligations to fulfill as an excuse not to follow through with plans we made, but actually spends that time doing the aforementioned activities. He lies profusely about minor things. He was supposed to move in 2 weeks ago and spent most of this time at his apartment under the guise of packing and organizing for the move. When I passed by this last Wednesday, he hadn't packed at all. He also worked this entire weekend to make up for hours he wasted not working during the week, ruining our weekend plans. I have tried to be as understanding as I can and have made various attempts to extend grace when he falls through on engagements, but happens too frequently and he isn't taking accountability and often pushes back/deflects when I remind him to focus or hold him accountable. He weaponizes his ADHD and says things like I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. Cut me some slack. Why can't you be more flexible? I'm sorry, but this is important and I can't afford to lose my job. Yes. I know I f_*eat up, but this is the reality, so I end up feeling disrespected and undervalued. I am also deeply concerned. I think he's spiraling and out of control. He has also been poor with his personal hygiene, e.g., not brushing his teeth 2x a day, not bathing daily, wearing the same clothes 3 days in a row, etc. I passed by his parents' place today to drop off some kitchenware we borrowed and ended up breaking down and talking to his mom about our problems. I told her I was really worried and wasn't sure what to do, but that I loved him and didn't want to give up. I was desperate for help. I was feeling extremely vulnerable and had hoped she could give me some insight. I'll own that it was an overstep sharing his current struggles with her despite her knowing already. I just cracked and started crying. AITA for confiding in his mom and telling her we have been in conflict and I'm really concerned about his mental health. I told him we spoke and now he doesn't want to speak to me and wants to end our relationship, saying I crossed a big boundary. AITA for telling my uncle off and asking him to focus on his family rather than random people. This incident is from 2020 but still haven't recovered from it. My dad passed away suddenly in March 2020, then the COVID happened. So I was stuck far away from my mom and younger sister. Then my grandpa, mom's dad, passed away. I was very stressed due to all these situations. My uncle, dad's brother, called one day to inform that my dad's aunt's aunt, who was 90+ years old, passed away. I was like, why is he telling me this? I don't even know her. Yet I told him okay. I am not sure who she was, but I will inform mom. She will reach out to you. He was pissed off at this and said I was being disrespectful towards a relative. At this, as I was already highly stressed, told him that he should focus on his family rather than random people. He had just separated from his wife and his older son has not been talking to him for more than 10 years now. He complained about me to my mom, but she supported me as she knew I was all alone and highly stressed. AITA for making plans with a friend, instead of my girlfriend, during a busy week. AITA for making plans with a friend, instead of my girlfriend, during a busy week. My 22M girlfriend, 22F, and I have both been very busy for the past month or so. I started a new job that is having me work 60 hours a week. And she also has been working while applying to graduate programs. I have a close family friend, 21M, that moved to my city for school last year. We haven't spent much time together. And he recently returned from a semester abroad. I grew up with this guy. And he is definitely more of a brother to me than a friend. Even though we lived so far away before he moved. He got back to my city in mid-December and has been asking me to meet up ever since. Between my job and prioritizing time with my girlfriend, we never found a time. I had to head to my parents' this past weekend, which is about an hour away, just to pick up a package that got delivered there. Since he is very close with my parents as well, I offered him to come with. I figured it would be a good time to see each other. Have my parents see him. Since I was heading that way anyway. We solidified these plans the week prior. This past week, my girlfriend was letting me know she wanted to spend time together. We live close, so I had been trying my best to find an hour or so after work to go see her or run some errands together, which is normally something we like to do together. She was also heading home to her parents this past weekend, who also live about an hour away. She kept asking repeatedly for me to come spend the night over the weekend. We were spending Friday night together. But I needed to be back at my apartment on Saturday as we were expecting a severe snowstorm and I had more work to finish before Monday. When we were spending Friday night together, she had asked me to look for something she left at my parents' house a few weeks ago. I told her I was going home on Sunday, but didn't mention my family friend tagging along. She was happy I would be able to look for the thing she left. This is important for context. Anyways, Saturday comes along and she asks me to come spend the night with her. Again. And I said I couldn't because I had work to do. The snowstorm. And I had to be back in my city Sunday morning to bring my family friend home. He doesn't have a car. She called me later that day clearly upset and emotional. And I was accused of not prioritizing our time together. I tried to explain that it would have been incredibly difficult for me to get back to her parents with the snow and work. And I had made the plans with my family friend before she had asked me to make plans for the weekend. She believes that I still should have prioritized seeing her. AITA for getting a job even though my mom says we'll get cut off of food stamps. I, 18F, recently decided to apply for jobs because I want to be more independent. My mom, however, is completely against it. Every time I make a decision for myself, she blames my sister-in-law, Sil, claiming that she's manipulating me into doing things even though my choices are 100% my own. Today, I went out to get job applications. And before I left, I overheard my mom sarcastically say, "Did your Sil manipulate you into getting a job?" I told her no. But later, I vented to my Sil about it. My Sil got annoyed and said that if my mom ever asks her for anything, she'll make a petty comment back. I told her not to. But she said she's going to anyway. If she does, my mom will know I told her. And I'll be screwed. On top of all this, my mom is now trying to guilt trip me into not getting a job by saying we'll lose food stamps if I start working and that we'll all starve. While I understand that finances are important, I don't want to put my life on hold because of it. I feel like she's just using this as another way to control me. AITA for telling everyone how one of my friends really is and being rude to her after she started spreading rumors about me. I, 20F, am in college. Last semester when we just started I got close to one of my classmates, I'll call him J, 20M. I did like him, we got along great, that he started flirting with me and hint to us going more serious, but then one of the girls of our class started forcing to hang out with us and our group of friends. We didn't talk to her at the time, then she started to stick to us all the time, especially whenever we hang out alone. She had been mostly subtle, but one time when we were at a friend's apartment she followed us since we went after class. I had to go early but the door only opened with a card and I couldn't leave with it, so I asked Jay if he could go with me to the door since he was going to stay, he could return the card, and he said yes, it was just a favor, but she got super upset and started yelling at my face that he was tired of me and that was only a bother to them. Then she just acted like nothing and followed us to the door and forced him back inside after he said goodbye to me. I just left and haven't really talked to any of them since, except for my friends. They actually told me right the next day how after I left she immediately started throwing shit talk about me, how I was obsessed with Jay, that I was a no one trying to sneak into their friend group, and that I didn't let Jay have other friends, when I was the one who introduced him to the rest of the group because he didn't wanted to make friends there. After I stopped talking to both of them, she started telling everyone that I was upset that she had stolen him from me and I was resentful that he had chosen her over me. To which I have to also add that she had been in a relationship this whole time and cheated on her BF of over 2 years with Jay and bragged about it with everyone. She also started being rude some of my friends she didn't even knew firsthand. My best friend F, 19M, is in the same basketball club as Jay. F had just twisted his ankle during practice and I was with him when she came up to him just so say how his career was over and that he would never do anything in life because of it. She literally said that to him in my face. Everyone who knows me has asked me about her because they've heard the things she said. I just been clearing out things and now most of my class, we're mostly the same people in all the classes, don't talk to her anymore. And it's not even because of me, most of them. She's just been straight up rude with everyone, then tries to act like she was just joking, although I'll admit since then I have just mostly ignored her, but whenever I ran into her or she tries to talk to me I've been straight up rude. I don't really care, I just don't want her near. But recently one of my friends did ask me if I didn't felt bad for being rude to her and for telling everyone who asked my side of the story and that I could be ruining her reputation. Which I really don't feel bad, but maybe I should have just let them talk and ignore them. AITA for wanting my own water. Last semester I had 5 roommates and we all shared a big fridge. We didn't have a water filter and I hated drinking tap water, so I would fill a gallon jug at one of those refill stations they have everywhere on campus. However, every day I would come back from class to find it almost empty even though they have their water bottles and Brita. So I put my name on it and told my roommates it bothers me, but they kept doing it. Keep in mind the water filter I used was 3 floors down, so every day I found my bottle empty I would need to fill it. I told my friends the same story and the majority of them say I'm an asshole. I know it's just water and it's free for me to fill my jug, but it was very annoying. In my mind my roommates could get their own water.